Oh man, I hate riding when I'm ill. I'm not stupidly ill. I mean, it's only a cold, but still makes you feel like crap. And doing everything just takes 10 times longer. But I'm trying something different today. Although it's night time, I don't know if the cameras can pick it up, but I've got 3 different camera angles. So this time, rather than having the peg cam like I did on one of the last videos, I've now got the front wheel cam on a different mount, and I've got my forward facing cam, then I got the helmet cam. So yeah, hopefully it should pick up something interesting. And that's another thing, when you're not feeling well, you don't really want to ride like you do normally and ride like aggressively. You just want to be warm and comfortable. So I'm looking forward to walking into my office with a nice hot cup of coffee from Planet Organic, lots of caffeine. Is anybody gonna have okay, that's I'm going. Oh, maybe I'll just sit here in the left lane and relax at 50 miles an hour. I don't have to think too hard. And just let the bike just take me to work. Come on, bike, just take me to work, will you? Come on. Just go to put my feet down and relax, and the light goes green. Oh, look, a BMW i3 electric vehicle. Look at it go. I must say I drove one of those the other day, and they are fast. I mean, not crazy fast, but they got very, very good acceleration, very quick. I recently changed the brake pads on this not too long ago. Well, when I say not too long ago, literally a few days ago. It's the thing about brake pads. So on the front, I've gone for proper genuine Kawasaki pads, and but what I had before then was these Goldfriend pads, which quite frankly they were rubbish. 2 reasons: because they were fine in the dry, braking performance, but in the wet, you go to use your brake and there'd be nothing, and then you'd have to really give it a proper handful before there to be any sort of stoppage. And yeah, I didn't like that. And secondly, they didn't last very long. Only about 2 months of usage before they were down to under a millimetre. So, and I'm not a heavy braker, so that's why I thought I'd try the Kawasaki ones and see if they are any better and last longer. Hopefully they will. And then on the rear, I went for these what they're called EBC brakes, which apparently are supposed to be quite good. They're thicker as well. I really do think it helps having a loud exhaust, especially in situations like this when you're filtering, and it just lets people know that you're coming through. So if anyone wants to make a right turn, they just hang back. I mean, I don't like to be obnoxiously loud, but just loud enough. Had a Scorpion exhaust on the on this. That was at the time I had my Hornet, so I upgraded my. I didn't actually do a video on it, but I basically undertook a project to. So I undertook a project to make my Hornet like really loud, because I remember changing the back box for it and it didn't make any difference at all. I got like a Yoshimura can, but that didn't make it any louder. And then I realised that the reason for that was because the catalytic converter was just damping most of the sound. So then I had this project where I basically just took off the whole exhaust headers, including the cat, and then I cut off the catalytic converter, got myself a welder, and decided to weld like a little kind of like a pigtail where the exhaust catalytic converter was, and that made the Hornet sound so much better, really, really loud. In fact, louder than my Ninja at the time. So I thought, Ninja's really quiet now, and that was with the Scorpion exhaust on the Ninja. But of course, the Ninja also had the cat in as well. So so then I thought, well, let's do the same thing. Let's take the cat out of the Ninja and make the Ninja nice and loud. So I did, and I kind of cheated. I didn't actually cut the exhaust myself. I went online and I saw a new set of headers from a place called Sandy's Bike Parts, I think it was, in Bedford, and tried those out, fitted them, and yes, it changed the sound dramatically of the Ninja, so much so that it was just obnoxious. And so I thought, well, that's got to change. I want the sound to be nice, I want the sound to be loud, but not crazy loud. And with the Scorpion exhaust on the Ninja without a catalytic converter, it was not a nice sound. It was proper. It was not a nice sound. Not a sound that I think a bike should sound like anyway. Nice sound. So then I went for an Akrapovic end can, and that just sorted it all out completely. I've now started keeping a list of all the work I have undertaken on this bike, because I find the more and more things I just do myself, it just makes you want to do more. And so all the service items, I just end up doing that, and to the point where if I don't end up keeping a list of what I've done and what mileages I have to do them, I won't remember when I have to next do the basic things like oil changes and spark plug changing and stuff. I remember the first time I did my valve clearances, and I never actually set out to do my valve clearances. It wasn't like a plan. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do my valve clearances now, I'm going to check them, and if they need doing, I'll sort them out. In fact, it was more of a gradual thing. It was more like it started, I had an oil leak coming from the front of the engine, just a little dribble, nothing crazy, and I thought, well, I've got to fix that. So I ended up ordering the new rocker cover gasket or the cam cover gasket. And ordered a new one of those with the gasket for the bolts that had to go in. You got to change those as well. Ordered those and just intended to just basically, you know, swap the gaskets over and put some new sealant, and that's it, fix the oil leak. And so yeah, then it kind of just, I just kind of just thought, well, hang on, as I was doing it, I just thought, well, I've got the rocker cover gasket off now, why don't I just check the clearances? You know, because I had access to the camshafts. I could stick a feeler gauge in between the cam lobes and the thing underneath it. Forgotten what it's called. And so yeah, you know, all I had to do was just rotate the engine around and check the clearances, which is what I then did. And then it turned out that they actually needed doing. They were out by quite a bit, and I thought, well, now that they need doing, and I've got the rocker cover off, I might as well just go a step further and just. So I'm sitting there with the service manual, reading the procedure, read it like 10 times over, watch a couple of YouTube videos. I thought, screw it, I'm going to do it. So there I am removing the camshafts out of the bike, thinking, oh man, is this bike ever going to work again? And then having to hunt for the shims of the right size, and I'm there with a spreadsheet and trying to work out which shims I need based on the shims I've got, just swapping around shims so I don't have to buy as many. You know, that sort of thing. And yeah, got it done in the end. And then came the moment of truth when I got the bike all back together and started it, and it started. And what a relief that was. That was a nice moment. So in my thirst for doing all these bike projects, I ended up buying a little 125 from a friend, and it was intended really just as a kind of restoration project, but nothing that would cost too much. And so I got a little Suzuki Marauder 125, and I completely took it apart to the point where I had the frame in my house, just repainting it and resanding it, and there's a bit of rust in places, but I want to do a video on that bike just to see what it's like doing this journey on that bike. Who knows, I might prefer it. Is it me, or has it just gotten a whole lot windier?